Following the imposition of international sanctions on Russia due to its military actions in Ukraine in 2022, the country's aviation sector has faced unprecedented challenges. These sanctions have raised global concern about the safety of Russian airlines, but are these concerns justified? Sanctions imposed by the EU, US, and other countries targeted key components of Russia's aviation industry, including the leasing of Western aircraft, primarily Boeing and Airbus, access to spare parts and maintenance services, software updates, and technical support. As a result, hundreds of leased aircraft were effectively stranded in Russia when sanctions hit. Russia passed legislation allowing airlines to re-register foreign leased jets domestically, keeping them in service without returning them to lessors. This move triggered legal disputes and sparked safety concerns. In terms of safety concerns and maintenance, one of the biggest issues is access to certified spare parts. Since most commercial jets in Russia are Western-made, maintaining them without approved parts or technical support from Boeing and Airbus poses a significant safety risk. Airlines have reportedly resorted to cannibalizing parts from grounded aircraft or relying on parallel imports, neither of which guarantees compliance with international aviation safety standards. Russian aviation authorities claim that they have taken steps to ensure safety, including local maintenance and monitoring. However, without oversight from global bodies like EASA or the FAA, independent verification is somewhat limited. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, as this would help the channel grow. I also have a Telegram channel where I post short, interesting, informative, or funny clips, so please click the link in the description and come and join me. Looking at its airline's operation, despite sanctions, Russian airlines continue to operate domestically and to select international destinations, mostly in countries not participating in sanctions, such as Turkey, the UAE, and some Central Asian nations. International aviation bodies like IATA have expressed concerns but have not universally banned Russian carriers. Some recent reports suggest an increase in technical issues and longer repair times, but major incidents have been rare. Let's look at Russian airline accident record since sanctions following the period of 2022 to 2024. Following the imposition of international sanctions, Russia's aviation industry has operated under significant stress. However, the overall number of major incidents involving Russian commercial airlines has remained relatively low, though the risks have possibly increased due to maintenance standards and parts availability. In terms of notable incidents and trends, as of early 2025, there were no widely reported fatal crashes involving major Russian airlines such as Aeroflot, S7, or Rossiya. Smaller regional and cargo operators have had more incidents, some involving older or Soviet-era aircraft like the Antonov 26. Russian media and some independent aviation watchdogs reported a notable rise in emergency landings and technical delays, often attributed to aging fleets and lack of spare parts. Instances include landing gear failures, engine anomalies, and cockpit system warnings. There is concern among international observers and aviation experts that safety incidents may be underreported or not fully disclosed by state-controlled media and regulators in Russia. However, it's almost impossible to hide an accident involving an aeroplane or a serious incident. Passengers on board are likely to report it. Withdrawing from global aviation oversight like the International Civil Aviation Organization audits further clouds transparency. Airlines have reportedly been using parts from grounded planes, cannibalization, to keep aircraft operational. While not illegal, doing so without rigorous oversight and certified technicians increases long-term safety risk. So far, Russia's major airlines have avoided catastrophic accidents since the sanctions, but the operating environment has been significantly more fragile. Experts caution that continued isolation, lack of certified parts, and weakened oversight may lead to safety degradation over time. But experts are not gods and have often been proven wrong. You can use the conditional tense as much as you want, but in effect, it is a could. When one compares with the number of incidents that have taken place in the United States over the same period, there is really a serious question about whether or not the dangers that experts refer to in relation to Russia's aviation sector are really as they have stated or as serious as is being suggested. The evidence suggests that Russian airlines are not inherently dangerous. The restrictions placed by international sanctions have undeniably increased operational risks. But based on the evidence in terms of accidents and other information, it would suggest that however difficult it may be and whatever sources they are using, the Russians have been able to cope in terms of the problems. How long they will be able to cope because of sanctions, only time will tell.